The Digital Circus trailer has left more than one person speechless with the things that were presented, but what many don't know is that within those random clips chaotically organized by the episode theme, several spoilers are hidden that could help us know where the chapter's plot might be heading. This includes why it's good for Ragatha to be with Kinger, why Zooble has another of Gangle's masks, and that this mask is related to a theme already brought up in the series, and why Pomni crossing paths with Jax has a rather honest reason on our protagonist's part, in addition to a spoiler that could leave you thinking about the entire Machiavellian plan that was put together for this adventure. Chapter 1. Zooble and Gangle. The spoilers we will discuss are more related to the characters and how they are grouped in their respective teams. So first we'll talk about Team Unmasked, since despite not having many scenes in the trailer, they all trace back to a theme that was likely already raised in the previous chapter. In some fragments of the trailer, Jax is seen removing Gangle's comedy mask. The most normal thing given Jax's sense of humor would be for him to have broken it as always, but this time that doesn't seem to be the case. In later scenes, we can see Zooble with Gangle, the latter covering her face while shedding tears. This is because she was one of the people who suggested that this type of game was not a good idea.
Kane, I don't think this is a good idea.
Either because she doesn't like them, or because she is afraid of getting shot by Jax again, like in the previous chapter. The interesting thing is that Zooble is holding one of Gangle's masks. Judging by the fact that in chapter number 4, Gangle got rid of the mask that Zooble had given her, this leaves us with the clue that this is the comedy mask. But what specifically will they be talking about? Here's the thing. When Gangle doesn't have her comedy mask, her personality, while not changing, does seem more downcast and with low self-esteem. However, on several occasions, we see Zooble cheering her up either by spending time with her or supporting her art, even telling her they could draw together if she wanted. The scene in question that we see in the trailer suggests that the theme of whether Gangle can be happy even without a comedy mask will be addressed. Curious considering that the one who planted that doubt in our minds a chapter ago was Jax himself.
Do you think Gangle is actually capable of being happy?
And it's not far-fetched to think so, since Zooble has always been sincere with Gangle, always defends her from Jax, and I wouldn't be surprised if this time they snatch the mask from Jax's hands just for bothering Gangle again as usual. This might be related to why we see them so angry with him in the sneak peek preview, although, well, that's always a habit between those two. Now as for their performance in the episode, I honestly don't think they'll be the winning team. Although we see that Zooble's strategy is to hide in a strategic spot to have a wider field of vision and thus attack stealthily and strategically, there's a scene in the trailer where Jax and Pomni find them in some kind of tunnel, so they might end up being ambushed at any moment. However, the important thing for them isn't winning or losing. The important thing is that this moment serves to develop their friendship and above all for Gangle's personal development, since she needed someone close to tell her everything is going to be okay, to make her feel safe and to let her be herself. Chapter 2. Ragatha and Kinger. While I thought about saving them for last, it seems to me the final team has a plus that makes it worthwhile to leave them for last. However, let's remember that this chapter is also important for Ragatha, even if it's not her chapter. Therefore, speaking of Team Pew Pew, the most important weight will fall on the ragdoll, as she tells us within the episode that this doesn't seem like a good idea to her, and that it's something they don't need right now.
I'm not sure this is really what we need right now.
Knowing that Kane was the one who commented that everyone in the group seemed to have a palpable tension among them, having a battle royale is not a good idea for releasing tension. Clearly. But that doesn't take away from it being fun and that King clearly doesn't understand much about human emotions. So I'm sorry Ragatha, it is what it is. After saying that, play this scene. That is why it's not surprising that we see this team has already lost a life. Not just Ragatha, Kinger too. Most likely he lost it trying to save his partner from a bullet, and that would lead to Ragatha feeling powerless, feeling useless and good for nothing, not even able to support a friend. No matter how helpful she may strive or force herself to be with others, always being present to lend a hand to someone, it seems to has led to no one trusting her anymore. This is reflected in the scene where we see her in the darkness, about to cry. A trigger would not only be the game itself, but also that Pomni preferred to team up with Jax, a person Ragatha considers an idiot who only seeks to screw everyone over, who only seeks to laugh at the misfortunes of others, and now she has lost the only genuine friend she was able to make. But not all is bad. Within the darkness, there exists a being of light who helps anyone going through a difficult time to get up. That person is Kinger. In the darkness, Kinger not only shines, but his mind stops wavering in madness and pauses to think clearly. And just as he did with Pomni in episode number 3, this time it will be his turn to help Ragatha lift her spirits, since she needs it more than anything. like Gangle. Both have been at very low points in these last few episodes, and many theorized and feared that this could mean a possible abstraction. But luckily, we have a being who is crazy but wise like Kinger, who will be with her to give her motivation and to tell her that she can do it. And as it looks like the decisive battle is between Team Pew Pew and the bad guys, one would think that by giving her enough motivation, Ragatha and Kinger's team would win. Besides, Kinger seems to be an expert using weapons, but that would only happen if we were in a Disney story and a very predictable one, which is not the case. Chapter 3, Jax and Pomni. I left these two for last because after all, this is episode number 6, Jax's chapter, the chapter of chaos. And as we saw in the previous episode, the Funny Bunny's relationship has been building little by little. First as something casual between people asking how everything's going in chapter 4, and then starting a promising friendship. From what's been seen in the previews, it was Pomni herself who decided to go with Jax, perhaps because of the things that Rabbit said about Ragatha, since, well, Pomni is not dumb. For many, it was a strange moment to see Jax express himself that way with her. You could even notice when Jax was being sincere and how he would suddenly change and suddenly be himself again. Now, in several scenes from the trailer, we see Jax teaching Pomni how to handle a weapon, how to shoot, and above all, how to have fun. We see them talking calmly, laughing, and basically being a dynamic duo. Gun buddies, you know, like this frame where they both aim at the same time at some character while giving a mischievous smile. A shot of Pomni angry and Jax looking thrown off, among many other scenes. What one came to think is that Jax is influencing Pomni a lot, but the protagonist herself said it last chapter. She thinks and acts for herself. That means that this is a part of her that we had never seen until now. One where she can have fun, laugh, feel comfortable, feel like herself, being a complete mess, chaos just like Jax. However, this is still Jax's chapter. He can have all the weapons he wants, but if there's one thing we see in the trailer, is that now he can have fun with an equal. I mean, this time we won't see Jax having fun individually by playing mean pranks on the others. He's gonna have someone with whom he can understand and share his humor. Someone who deep down is similar to him, perhaps not in the same way. This doesn't mean that Pomni is suddenly going to become a Jax 2.0. I'm referring more to how they both connect and have a good time together. As is known, in the last episode, we met the evil versions of the circus members. But these evil versions, most likely created by Kane, are not just their counterparts. They're not just the anti-Fairly OddParents versions of the protagonists. They are actually hidden parts of their personality, and this is now confirmed by seeing Pomni act in that way, very similar to her evil version. And if she can do it, what's to make us think that Jax can't? Be a bit more sensitive. Of course, not to the degree we saw in his evil version, but seeing Jax having fun with someone else, smiling, having a good time, being sincere with that person, wouldn't it remind him of someone he used to be like that with? Someone like Ribbit. And because of that, Jax has gotten his tail back. Hadn't you noticed? By being with the person who makes him feel comfortable, perhaps that's why the tail he lost who knows how long ago has grown back. Chapter 4, the reason for the game. It's all very nice to talk about the members of the circus, but why don't we talk about what Kane is hiding? In previous chapters, Kane mentioned that the reason NPCs from his adventures weren't allowed into the Digital Circus is because if he were to mistake a person for one of those NPCs, he doesn't know what might happen. And as it has come to be suspected that one of the members or even one of these mannequins is inside the circus tent, Kane has decided to create a dangerous game in which the members will shoot at each other. Most likely, it will be discovered if the loser is an NPC or not. Besides, while the others are shooting at each other, we can see him holding these photographs. And if we go to the promotional image that was released the day before the trailer, we see photos of all the circus members, as if they were looking for a suspect. And coincidentally, Kane has several of those photos in his hands.